They've been being served fast food for decades now, and they've been told it's a gourmet meal, and now the public believes it. Well, certainly preserve and study history and understand, ask questions why and how. If you're not studying the past, then how can you possibly correct the future? I found the research I did from the Western lens wasn't really accurate. So this is what threw me. I saw the word Nanking a few times in here. Mm-hmm. Oh,
yeah.
God.
So they're a little different.
Yeah, but how many people was that done to?
Just the word Nanking, I thought, oh my God, this is something of great historical significance. I can't buy this. This might be expensive. I don't want this to go in a private collection. This should go in a museum.
Alan Kell is a Minnesota pawnshop owner and TikTok creator. Earlier this autumn, he posted videos based on an album of photos taken during Imperial Japanese Army massacres in China during World War II.
We landed in Shanghai, and I'm waiting for one of my online friends online from the United States. I know him. Actually, we were friends 2 years ago. I'm really excited. Hey, finally! I didn't see you actually. Yeah,
I saw you right away.
Finally meet you after two years.
Yeah, about 2 years. I think it was actually 2 years ago this weekend you interviewed me.
Really?
I think so, yeah.
I think it's during December. 来来来 One more. Okay, awesome.
Photo shoot. Nice to meet you.
谢谢。走吧。
Yeah, I've been getting...
Kell's generous donation of the photo album documenting the Chinese War of Resistance against Japanese aggression has not only raised his public profile, but also established a profound and enduring relationship with his historic nation.
I like this guy a lot. How you doing? Looking good. Oh yeah? Oh. Yeah, you got some style, my friend.
Welcome to the Bound. Are there any suggestions for you, for the younger generations these days, who would like to promote the world peace?
Well, certainly preserve and study history and understand, ask questions why and how, and use that as a lens for the future. The fact is, genocides still happen all over the world. There's one going on. There's multiple going on right now, in Africa, in the Middle East, and if you're not studying the past, then how can you possibly correct the future? You need to understand these things, and people really don't bother to get tuned into what's going on around the world and ask maybe what they can do, even if it's something small. I made a video on TikTok, and look what this turned into. So big things can start from small origins that might be totally accidental, but it's important that young people participate in world affairs and understand what's going on.
My American friends.
就是他，我见到了，我靠！谁呀？就是那个捐献侵华日军那个罪证那个美国大哥那个。你跟他合个影吗？我不会。你。
Take a seat.
Okay.
Left or right?
You pick.
I prefer this side.
Okay. All right. You got your methods.
What do you think the social media's role in order to promote historical protections or historical preservations?
For example, if you find something like the artifact that I found, take pictures of it and put it on the internet, because then it's never going to go away. It's important to document stuff and then have a discourse in talking about it, talking about what it is. My role here, it started out as I accidentally educated the world about the Xinjiang massacre. It's not really taught in the United States or in the West. In order to have those kinds of discussions, it starts with, well, here's the tech, preserve it with a picture. Don't turn your flash on, that's bad for old pictures. But then once it's out there, you can have a discussion about it and talk about the facts, not about whatever reality you're trying to make up. If it's denial on something, that's not good. Just talk about what happened from a purely factual standpoint or factual base.
So what motivated you here? What brought you here?
And what were your expectations before coming to China? And what do you think now is the biggest change?
Well, the biggest thing that I expected that I found wasn't true was what the media sold me, the Western media, in terms of a lens. When getting ready to come here, I started consuming media. What's it like? And I found the research I did from the Western lens wasn't really accurate. Like, I was expecting Beijing to be polluted and dirty and all backed up. Okay, it can get a little backed up, there's a lot of traffic, but it's no worse than any American city. Other than that, it's a very clean city, and I was very surprised to see that Beijing was not what I thought it was going to be. I wanted to come and pay my respect to the Chinese people and introduce myself to China properly if I'm going to be here make this a permanent thing with me. I obviously need to start out by coming here. And getting here wasn't easy for a lot of different reasons. I had a strategy I was forming with what I was going to do, and I had goals of, well, how do I start to make these a reality? So I spent the first year after the donation, I started reading books a little bit about China. I didn't do much, but then the last year I've done quite a lot in terms of studying, in terms of getting ready, preparing what I think is going to be a constructive goal for my identity here as a private citizen, advocating for peace, and some things that I want to do culturally with the cultural exchange of China and America, again, for lasting peace.
Well, plenty of gifts that we sing on videos on social media. Are there any stories or interactions that you want to share?
I wanted to go to the flag raising ceremony. I thought it was a respectful thing to do to the Chinese people, and I wanted to see it. So somebody came up to me in line and gave me their coat and have it. So I now have the most badass coat I've ever had in my life. This is the coolest coat. I can't believe this. I feel really bad taking it, but nice. Shouts over at me. He's like, I follow you. I got a scarf, and I've gotten lots of other things that I didn't ask for, and nobody should feel obligated to give me a gift, but it's a really nice gesture that all these people care and they want to show me that they care.
Yeah, that definitely shows how we Chinese people are welcoming you, and a great thank you for what you have done.
In terms of cultural or economic exchanges, what are the possibilities or challenges that face for both China and the US?
Look at me. I now am a influencer here in China by total accident. And this is creating jobs here. There's people now that are working for me and helping me, and through this accidental thing, I've created something positive for an economy. So there's other people, and it could be Chinese people trying to get into the American audience or vice versa. If they can do that, well, then there's an economic positive attachment with that.
I think the best way, because we do vlogs or videos, the best way to show, I prefer to presenting the stories rather than persuading people to believe me of something. So if we want to know the culture, if we want to know the place,
I think the best way is to see with our own eyes and chat with the locals and learn about the local cultures, not just about the language,
but the culture and wisdom
behind it.
Right? There are places that I highly recommended are the other rural or remote areas, and see how their Chinese daily lives. Because I'm just back from Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region, and I visit Xizang Autonomous Region almost annually.
I really want to go there.
Highly recommend. Can you believe that a border county, I should say it's not a city, but a county, that with zigzagging road leading to the place, so that the people there can go out to buy stuffs, to go to schools, can go to the hospitals. So this kind of zigzagging road is something that I would really impressed. How can they make this? And also for the high plateau altitude, they have the high-speed railway.
And I experienced that myself, and it was like being on a magic carpet, just how fast you're going and you don't feel it. I was watching the water. I'm into physics, and I'm like, all right, so let's see, is this thing gonna go like this and splash? And it barely moved.
From Beijing to Tianjin.
Yeah, I mean, it was a quick trip on that. I know about the initiative of China and getting further advanced, and how fast those were built and how reliable and safe they are. It's really an incredible feat of engineering to go and experience that. We don't have anything like that in the US. I've only been on a train once. It went 50 miles an hour, and it was very bumpy.
Once you are back to the States, how would you introduce China this time?
Unfortunately, it's to make a comparison with what the media has been selling the public, in my opinion, and based on my experience, They've been being served fast food for decades now, and they've been told it's a gourmet meal, and now the public believes it, and it's going to be really hard to convince them, no, that's crap, that's not true. So I think my work is going to be cut out for me trying to convince people of these opinions that you've been sold. Come experience it for yourself at least and go from there. Don't judge a book by its cover, because I found what I consumed from media was not accurate. And the media, again, every day is perpetuating this idea of be afraid of China. And you know, even like the show, one of my favorite shows, there's an episode, it's one of my favorite episodes, it's all about China and the terror of China, and you see this reiteration of the media on display with these fictional characters in this one episode. I think that's a good metaphor for what the public the general public attitude is.
Are there any questions you want to ask me?
What is your opinion of what I've done after watching me now for 2 years? Well, I guess I haven't really done much with this, or I haven't really made it very public until maybe about 6 months ago when I got on Douyin. But what do you think?
Well, first of all, I need to have a callback for 2 years ago. We know your story of your choice of donating the album, that you think this thing is cannot be sold and bought. I was really, really moved or touched by you, of your action, of your choice.
I actually left comments on your social media and left messages to your inboxes.
And I didn't expect to receive your replies that quick. So finally you reply me, and I really want to ask these questions about how and why. I'm really curious about people in the US. How can he know the story? How can he choose to do this? So first of all, I'm really, really curious about this guy. And after knowing you for 2 years, it's really, really a simple word, but he's a good guy.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. My parents would love to hear that.
You are brave enough to showcase the history, to showcase the story for people who might not admit this history. You said that I might be the only friend for you in China, but I say no. Every Chinese people is your friends.
Yeah, I found that one out.
Yeah. So that's my thoughts.
I appreciate that.
Please use 3 words to describe your 2024.
Let me think here. 3 words to describe 2024. Okay, stressful. Either positive or negative, because there's always learning experiences. I've had, just with my personal business, there was a lot of stressful things that happened that are totally unrelated to this, but I would have to incorporate that word, because I dealt with a lot of stressful stuff this year. Life-changing, because this whole trip is totally life-changing. What's a word for discovering new friendship? I should know this. I package that, because I'll sit here and think for too long, package that into one word, but discovering new friends and a new way of life.
Great chat. These are the
Beautiful.
pottery teapot and teacup. It is for the intangible cultural heritage, and also the 6th generation of these guys. Handmade by a craftsman in Xinjiang, in Kashi, actually. That is the most western part of China. This camel is also from Xinjiang, and I hope you can leave it to your shop and your back home.
Yeah.
I prefer to leave it at your shop, because when customers are here,
I was going to say, I can put this over the door.
Yeah.
I need a little jingle.
And you will know there are people coming in. Finally, meet you face to face in China. And hopefully you can stay in China and we can explore the country more and in different places. Great thanks for you to telling the stories from China, telling the stories to the rest of the world, and to pay much more attention to world peace and also love between us.
Very nice to meet you. Thank you for having me. Appreciate the gifts.
The scars of war remain etched in history, casting their shadow across time. Evan Cao's selfless actions bring light to darkness and bridge the hearts of young people in China, the United States, and around the world. Though the remnants of war still linger, it is through honest dialogue and goodwill that hatred gives way to friendship and sorrow turns into peace. Let us remember the lessons of the past, foster friendships that cross borders, and walk together toward a shared destiny for all humanity.